afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette, broadcasting live via SHR Media and streaming live on Facebook from beautiful Cape May County, New Jersey. And my guest today is going to be Mr. Elliot Bogod. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I usually confirm that off the air, and I totally forgot to do that this time. I'm sure he'll let me know. He is the owner and managing director of Broadway Real Estate. He's also a best-selling author, and we're going to talk to him today about Get Rich in Real Estate. So I'm looking very much forward to that conversation today. What should we talk about today? Is there anything going on in the news, in the Money Talk news that we should talk about? I don't know. Maybe impeachment. I don't know. I've been like addicted to the impeachment hearings, and you guys know this about me, that I'm semi-addicted to politics as it is, and I've been watching the impeachment hearings, although the impeachment hearings have been driving me absolutely crazy. But right now, it's just the Democrats are wrapping up their testimony, I guess is the best way to put it. They're wrapping up with the last 6 hours, and they're on the second article of impeachment, which the second article is obstruction of Congress, which is not even a law. It's literally a bunch of made up laws, and of course, I just really. While they're defending their reasoning on the second article, all I'm hearing is a bunch of whining. Like, they're big time mad because the president would not give them all the information that they want to completely fry him or make up some other things to investigate him about. Now, some people on the left are complaining about the fact that he wouldn't let anybody testify, wouldn't turn over any papers or anything like that. But if you recall, they just finished investigating him for, 2.5 years with the Robert Mueller investigation. And he gave them everything, gave them full access to all the papers, gave them, totally full access to anybody that they wanted to talk to. And, and they found nothing. So then they want to start all over again with this foolishness. I don't blame him, not one bit, for not cooperating. It's completely ridiculous. The whole and all they're doing over and over again is repeating the same thing over and over again and doing a whole lot of whining. That's what I hear. They remind me of my students. They're just doing a whole lot of whining. Now, Ron Edwards, hello, Mr. Ron Edwards, and hello, Doug and Jim. Thank you for joining us in the Facey chat. Ron Edwards says that the Republicans are not fighting back. Well, it's not. I think it's because it's not their turn to fight back. I think they're going to fight back, or at least that's my hope, that that's what's going to happen, that some fighting back is going to occur, because the Democrats have been going at it now. I think we're on day 4. It's I don't know about you guys, but it's enough already. I'm ready to hear the president's defense, which I'm sure is going to be, an extremely good defense. But I'm ready to start hearing the defense. I'm not real happy with the structure. I think this is the same structure that they used during the Clinton impeachment hearings. But man, it is really hard to watch. It's been difficult to watch it. And somebody in the Facey chat said that they couldn't watch Schiff anymore. And I'm with you on that. It was very hard. It was very hard to watch Schiff the entire time. And he's literally lying. I mean, he's saying things that during the Mueller report were proven to be absolutely untrue. And that's the other thing that's bothering me. Ron Edwards, who's really well known for biting his tongue, I'm being sarcastic, said that they allowed the dimwits to run the structure. Oh, well, that explains why it's such absolute torture. Because it is absolute torture, and I'm hardly able to take it. I can't wait until tomorrow when I believe that we're going to get an overview of President Trump's defense. And then Monday, we're going to go into the president's defense in earnest, is my understanding of how things are going to work. But I am downright it's like a train wreck. Like, I can't, I want to stop watching, but I can't stop watching because I just want to know what it is that they're going to say. But it has been terrible watching. In the meantime, we also have this coronavirus going on, and it's going on around the world. Apparently, some 3 million people in China are being quarantined right now because it's going around. If you remember, we had a similar virus like this called SARS back in the early 2000s, and it killed 800 people. And apparently, they're saying this coronavirus is more serious than the SARS virus was, and it's killing a lot more people. So that's something that's pretty distressing. And the latest thing that I heard as far as what's going on in the United States is that there's 2 people in the United States with confirmed cases of the coronavirus, and that there are some 80 that are suspected of having this virus. Now, fortunately, we have much better, healthcare and things like that here, but still, that is not a good thing when you have a virus that's going around that's, literally killing people. The most strange thing about this virus is that it seems to have derived from bats and snakes, because apparently this is something that they eat in China as a delicacy. There's a bat soup, apparently, and there's a snake soup, and that's where this has come from. Oh, Doug Paul said he met Jay Sekulow in the 80s when he was a whippersnapper. The other thing I don't want to let go is also the fact that the most pro-life president, I think, ever in history, at least he was the first one to speak at the March for Life, spoke at the March for Life today. I'm really sorry that I missed this year's March for Life. But he was the first president to speak there, and I've said pretty consistently that he is definitely one of the most pro-life presidents there is. And when people ask me why I voted for him, one of the main reasons why I voted for him is because I could not vote for Hillary, who believed that you could kill babies up, basically up until they're out of the womb, which is ridiculous. And then you have some people on the left who think that you should, namely the governor in Virginia, who think that once babies are born, you can make them comfortable and then decide whether or not you're going to keep it, which is infanticide. I can't even believe that is legal, but it's legal in Virginia. So I'm very happy that President Trump was there and was able to speak, and people were posting clips from his speech today. I thought was wonderful. A lot of people don't know this, that one of the things that President Trump did for all the well-melanated people that look like me that are against him is he stopped the illegal abortions in Africa. That was one of the first things that he did, was sign an executive order to make sure that we cut off the money to Planned Parenthood. It was a program that they had to illegally kill babies in Africa. Abortion is illegal in Africa. You're not allowed to do that. And Planned Parenthood was certainly doing that. So I'm glad that he was able to do that. The other things that are going on in the news besides that is also they're cracking down. President Trump is cracking down on travel called birth tourism, which is when women are pregnant and they travel to the United States with the intention on having their kids take advantage of birthright citizenship in the U.S. But under the new rules, which took effect today, pregnant women could be denied visas. Apparently, there are some exceptions, but they could be denied visas, which I think is a very good thing. That's something that we needed to put a stop to for sure. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest today is Elliot Bogod, and he is going to talk to us today about how we can get rich in real estate. I'm very excited about that. We have a brand new Ron Edwards notebook coming your way. And we also have a brand new ad for the one and only Tax Mama, who is one of my sponsors, been a long time supporter of the show. So that's coming your way right this minute.
Don't just pass the IRS exams. Why not pass them all and get a solid tax education too? Visit irsexams.school and let the Tax Mama staff get you started today. All our live and self-study tax courses offer you the convenience to study online on your own time and have everything you need to succeed. Tax Mama teaches you tax law, practice, and representation from the ground up. That's irsexams.school. Why wait? Get enrolled today in our premium course or the self-study class. That's irsexams.school. It's way more than just a review course. It will improve your entire future.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
The Democrats have proven time and time again they are the American political party of death, doom, and destruction. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, from its founding, the Democrat Party has been a political club of slavery, bad schools, Jim Crow, abortion, of unborn babies, and trying to destroy the traditional family in order to unravel American stability and cohesiveness. Democrats even sought to vote God out of one of their conventions. Democrats are the ultimate bigots who even discuss physically harming those who do not agree with their mission to abolish God's designation of man and woman. Like Satan, Democrats seek to kill, steal, and destroy. Just when one thinks that Democrats couldn't go any lower, they find another level of depravity. Their most recent depraved act was to block a resolution introduced by Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy that expressed support for oppressed Iranian protesters and condemned Iran for shooting down a Ukrainian passenger jet that killed 176 people. The resolution would also have condemned Iran for killing 1,500 Iranian citizens who protested government abuses. Wake up, America, the republic you saved from the leftist Democrats may be your own. I'm Ron Edwards. Check out theronedwards.talkspot.com for news updates and other great stuff.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
And welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest this hour is Elliot Bogod, unless I'm pronouncing his name wrong, which I'll let him tell me in a second. He's the owner and managing director of Broadway Real Estate. He's the author of the book, Get Rich in Real Estate, and I'm very excited to talk to him today. How are you, Mr. Bogod? Is that how you pronounce it, Bogod?
Yes, Melanie, Bogod is right.
Bogod, okay.
That's how you pronounce it. Right.
Very good. Well, welcome to the show. Before we get started, can you please tell our audience a bit about your background? A little bit of a bio?
Sure. So I came to the United States from Russia about 30 years ago, some time ago, in 1989, and I started my real estate business, my real estate company. I'm the founder of Broadway Realty. This company been around for 22 years now, and I came from Russia when I was 18 years old, and I sold over $2 billion worth of real estate, and that real estate is mostly in New York, but I also specialize in properties in other states, Florida, Connecticut, New Jersey, and I do business in Pennsylvania, but mostly it's in New York, of course. I buy, sell, finance, refinance. I do business for myself, my investors, and it's been successful so far.
Now, how did you get started in real estate? You said you came to the United States when you were 18. Is that how you started?
No, I finished college. I went to college and I graduated here in New York. And after I worked for the commercial real estate company called Cushman, and I had worked for them for 2 years, and then I started working for myself. I opened my own company.
Oh, excellent. And is that Broadway?
Yes, it's called Broadway Realty. You can find us at BroadwayRealty.com. That's our website. We have some presence on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn and Twitter. and YouTube.
Excellent. So the name of your book is Get Rich in Real Estate, Your Step-by-Step Guide. Now, I've heard people say that real estate is a tough business and it's very hard to work and things like that. You're saying that it's easy to get rich in real estate, or that you have a surefire formula to get rich in real estate?
Melanie, it's not easy. I never said there is an easy way in real estate, but there is some special niches and there are some ways in today's real estate. If you know how to do deals, how to finance, and how to keep properties, how to hold the properties, how to get passive income, and how to resell, and how to profit, you'll find a way to make it easier for yourself, and it's a certain way for you and your investors to become rich in real estate. That's what my book teaches, and it became on Amazon, and it's also selling on Barnes & Noble. It became an international bestseller. It's called Get Rich in Real Estate by Elliot Bogod.
Yes, I saw it, and I saw that it has many, many reviews, and it has a 5-star rating, which is pretty hard to get on Amazon.
Thanks. It's pretty amazing. It became international bestseller in 6 countries and in 8 different investment categories since May 2019.
Now,
and I've been busy promoting it as well.
Now, you say that you start out in the beginning of the book talking about some foundations, and I guess that's some basics of things that we need to know and if we want to get into the real estate business, whether or not we should rent or own, know some things about the real estate buying process, which I would think would be essential. And so what are some basic things if someone's interested in getting involved in real estate? What do you think the foundational things are that they need to know, without giving away the book, of course?
Of course, you have to know about the area of interest, so where you want to be. If you want to specialize in a certain neighborhood, you want to know all about this neighborhood. You want to know about values, what will be hot, what will be improved, how the infrastructure will work in the next few years, what is coming to the area, and what will be the special attractions to the area. And for example, I can give you one of the examples in New York. Here we have a city, in a city, Hudson Yards became a neighborhood, and so nobody imagined how it will be rented. It's rented now 100%. All the office towers and all the commercial spaces and all the restaurants and shops, they are all 100% rented, and now they're building another neighborhood. So they're building Hudson Yards West, which is a completely different area across the street from Hudson Yards East. That's a 10-year project, and it will be built soon.
And so you kind of want to do a little bit of a market study, I guess is what you're saying, in the neighborhood to see how much property would be available for you to possibly sell or rent?
Yes. So you'd like to visit this area day, night, weekdays, mornings, afternoons, and know all about it. You have to have a feel for this area, and you have to know what are the schools, what is the transportation like, is it subway or trains, or so the infrastructure is very important for people who commute. The commute is always important in any city and in any neighborhood. It should be convenient, or it will be. It should have an upside for the transportation.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, where I live, there's not a lot of transportation. I live near the beach, and there's like one bus that comes through every 3 hours. So like we're in an area where there is not a lot of transportation. I have a friend who lives in New York City that I visit often. And when I tell him about the place that I live, he's always like, wow, because you guys have I Ubered for like my first, I don't know, couple of years visiting, and he's like, why don't you take the subway? Why are you not taking the subway? Uber is so expensive. And I'm like, I don't really know anything else because I live in such a rural area that's totally different. So I would imagine that the real estate agents down here have a bit of a different experience than they do with the real estate agents in New York City.
Yes, absolutely. Urban areas are different from suburban areas, but there is different neighborhoods everywhere. So if you specialize in a certain area, you can make money in that area. There is some markets, for example, as in New York, 8 years ago, we had a strong market started becoming more and more buyers market. So for 8 years we had a sellers market and sellers did great. Now it's all changed. The prices started coming down in Manhattan and they are more negotiable than ever. And we saw some price drops and it changed last year. So we had 8 years of strong market for sellers. Now it's a buyers market.
Now, what do you attribute to that drop in prices?
It's cycles. Cycles in New York are anywhere between 3 to 8 years. So that's what we saw. The cycle that started after crisis, after Lehman Brothers, that's what happened in New York. So we didn't have any transaction or very little transactions from 2009 to 2011. And then it started picking up in 2011 until about 2016, the highest year of the market. And then we saw a soft market, and now it became a buyer's market.
Now, in the cities that you guys, since you're in the city, a lot of gentrification has taken place. I know in DC and New York City. Does that affect how you all conduct business as real estate agents?
Yes. So we saw some areas that changed a lot, and that areas keep changing. And we saw, for example, Upper Manhattan, Washington Heights, Inwood, Harlem, those areas changing, and we see it every day that new places are opening, new restaurants and new venues and new condos and new rental buildings are being built. And that's a part of the gentrification. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
The prices in the area are appreciating and the prices are getting higher. So the area changed a lot in the last 5 to 10 years.
And does that make it good for someone who's a real estate agent with the prices going up, or does that make it harder to sell?
They make. That's always the case if they sell more expensive properties. But it's something that for landlords, investors, it's always good that area that if they buy low, they can sell high, or they can just they're renting for more money. So that's always good for real estate investors.
That is true. And that's one thing I do want to talk about, renting versus buying and selling homes. I think a lot of people don't realize that one thing that real estate investors do is they deal in a lot of rental properties. And I think a lot of people always think of real estate. I'll contact a real estate agent when I sell my house, but not necessarily thinking about, if I want a rental property, contact my real estate investor to see if he has any rental properties that he, rents. on behalf of people who own those properties. Is that something that you do, or that real estate investors do?
Yes, that's what we do. We rent and we sell, and we now buying a lot of distressed properties. We buy from bank, we buy from foreclosure auctions, we buy from Marshall Sheriff auction. So we're trying to get distressed properties in need of renovation, in need of upkeep, and we hold to them. We're renting, we're selling as well.
Now, another area of your book that you talk about is co-ops versus condos. And I've never really fully understood what a co-op is. I know what a condo is, but how does a co-op work?
You know, it's similar to condo. So you get an apartment, but you own shares of the corporation that owns co-op property. In other words, in a condo, you own actual real estate. In a co-op, it's different. You own shares to the corporation that own the property. That's a basic change. If you finance co-op, bank look at the co-op a little differently. It has high rates, approximately quarter to half a point. You pay more in interest rates when you have a mortgage for the co-op versus condo.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. See, I didn't know anything about that. I would think that you find co-ops more in city areas than you do in like a rural area like mine.
Right. So I mostly see co-ops in New York, in boroughs, in Manhattan, as well as Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island. I saw co-ops in Miami, Florida. I don't know many areas that you have co-ops, but it's very popular and very expensive apartments here in New York. 70% of all ownership is a co-op ownership. Believe it or not, 30% is condos, and it's not too many townhouses. So it's mostly co-ops in Manhattan, for example.
Oh wow! I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I don't know if that's
the statistics.
Do they still have rent control properties in New York City? I know New York used to be very well known for that.
Yes, in New York there is 1 million apartments that are rent regulated, that are rent stabilized, rent controlled, and also controlled by Loft Board of New York. So there is still over 1 million apartments like that.
And when they say rent control, does the amount of the rent like change according to what's the word I'm looking for? Change according to cost of living, or like does it ever go up, or it literally just stays exactly the same no matter how low it is? Like it doesn't account for inflation or anything like that?
It's interesting. It's always up to the board and to vote. They meet once a year, the rent regulation boards, and they listen to landlords and they listen to tenants, and they vote. So the vote takes place once a year, and historically it's been anywhere between 1 to 2% increases. But last year there was a moratorium on the increases. So the rate of increase was 0 at one point. And then it became again 1.5% for 1 year lease and 3% for 2 year leases. That's how it's all regulated.
Ron Edwards in the Facey chat said that just hearing the borough names makes him miss New York City. I love New York City too. It's just so great. Hopefully you guys was Mayor de Blasio's idea to do a moratorium on raising the rents? I'm just curious because he seems to have his hand in everything in that city.
Right. He is very pro tenants and not so pro landlords. He's on the tenant side, of course, and he wants to have certain number of apartments maintained under the rent regulations law. Of course, that's his goal, to increase the affordable housing and to keep rent regulated units.
That's understood. There's a part of me that's empathetic in New York City because everything is so small, even though like all of the apartments, all of the hotels, everything is so tiny. There's so many people there. So there's a part of me that's empathetic with that, but I also am a very pro free market. So I just, this is also the place that costs $15 to go, to use the Hudson, the bridge. Which is just insane. And to say it's for someone who lives in New Jersey to say that the tolls are insane is saying something, because New Jersey is probably right there underneath New York as far as tolls and things like that are concerned. They're completely ridiculous. So they have in New York City, they have co-ops, condos. They also have townhouses and brownstones. And what is the difference between a townhouse and a brownstone?
It's interesting that it's a very good question. Some of the townhouses are brownstones and some of them are limestones. It's the color of the facades, and it's a special facade material that is basically name of the stone. And I dedicated the entire chapter to the townhouses and to townhouse styles. And I've been specializing in townhouses for a long time now. One of the townhouses in Murray Hill I sold 3 times, and every time it's getting a new life. Since the last time I sold it, it became an elevator townhouse. First it was a walk-up, then it received some major renovations and major improvements. But in New York, you have over 5,000 independent townhouses. Some of them are one family, some of them multiple dwellings. Some of them have garages. It's over 500 townhouses that have garage. Some people have car collections in those townhouses. And if you read my book, Get Rich in Real Estate, you'll have a chapter, very interesting chapter dedicated to townhouses, brownstones, limestones. It's a very special breed of real estate in New York.
It is. You go in there and, Ron Edwards said he's missing his West 85th Street brownstone. Oh, they are so nice. I've noticed even some hotels are built like that, and they have walls that are completely brick. I think they're beautiful. The first time I saw it, I thought it was odd because I had never seen brick inside a house before. The first time I've ever seen it is inside like one of those homes in New York City. Actually, it was in a hotel that was more like apartments. But I feel like people will live anywhere in New York. So
yes, some townhouses are very charming, and they have special details, and they have wood details. They have exposed brick fireplaces. They're all about landmark charm, and there is a lot of historical townhouses where you cannot renovate without even interior of the townhouse without approvals of the Landmarks Preservation Commission.
Oh, really?
They are very strict.
Oh, I should have realized that in New York City that the government was going to regulate something like that. They like to regulate as much stuff as possible in New York City.
Right. There is a building department and there is a Landmarks Preservation Commission. So if you live in a Landmarks district, you go through both the building department and LPC Landmarks.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're up against a break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about getting into commercial real estate. Switch gears a little bit from the residential to commercial. Were you up for that?
Sounds good.
All right.
ready.
You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. My guest is Elliot Bogod. We are talking to him about how to get rich in real estate, his best-selling book, and we will be back in a minute or two. Thanks.
Don't just pass the IRS exams. Why not pass them all and get a solid tax education too? Visit irsexams.school and let the Tax Mama staff get you started today. All our live and self-study tax courses offer you the convenience to study online on your own time and have everything you need to succeed. Tax Mama teaches you tax law, practice, and representation from the ground up. That's irsexams.school. Why wait? Get enrolled today in our premium course or the self-study class. That's irsexams.school. It's way more than just a review course. It will improve your entire future.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
and all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events? All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic, concealed carry, and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business leader here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
New show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
No surrender, ever.
because truth is not always pleasant.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest today is Elliot Bogod. He is talking to us today about how to get rich in real estate. He is the owner and managing director of Broadway Real Estate in NYC, the one and only New York City, probably one of the real estate capitals of the world. And we're very glad to have him on today to talk to us about the ins and outs of getting rich in real estate. The name of the book is Get Rich in Real Estate, Your Step-by-Step Guide. I'm going to post, for those of you who are in the Facey chat, I'm going to post the link in the Facey chat. For those of you who are listening via some kind of download or on SHR Media, you can get that book on Amazon. Or on Barnes & Noble. And welcome back, Mr. Bogod. We were talking about, I mentioned to you switching gears from commercial real estate from residential real estate to commercial real estate, and talking a bit about that. Is there, besides them being different kinds of properties, is there a big difference in the way you would have to sell them, market them, your entire approach, because you're dealing with commercial rather than residential?
Yes, Melanie, thanks for having me again. And so commercial real estate is very different in New York and other parts of the country. So you have multiple strategies, tactics, and techniques for building wealth through your investments and in the commercial real estate as well. So there is a lot of types of properties here in commercial. You have commercial condos, you have garages, you have retail stores, you have hotels, you have multiple dwellings. Any property in New York that is 4 family or more is considered commercial. So 5 and more. 1 to 4 family is the only residential property that banks are considering for the dwellings. So you basically have a lot of opportunities. We saw downtown Manhattan. That's where my office is for 22 years now, in Manhattan, in downtown financial district. We saw how it all changed from strictly commercial to residential and mixed use. We had a lot of conversions from office buildings to loft buildings and to residential, and some hotels. So a lot of office buildings became residential.
And when you're inside the buildings, you can kind of tell too when it used to be a commercial building. Like it doesn't seem like it's something that they try to hide.
Right. So you basically see that at night, the neighborhoods becoming more and more active. It was a 5-day neighborhood as downtown, and you see the buildings, they have lights at night. So you have lights on the streets. You have Saturday and Sunday traffic, people going to supermarkets. They have strollers. They go to the streets. And so it became a residential neighborhood just like other neighborhoods in New York. And it used to be strictly commercial.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the things that I like about New York City is that you kind of can't tell what you're getting until you're there, and that they have all those hubs, those different sections. Like you mentioned, the financial district is one of the districts that I like hanging out and occasionally get to stay in. But it's really cool that they have those different sections and those different hubs.
Right, and for example, you see Tribeca neighborhood changed a lot in the last few years. It became such an expensive neighborhood, close to financial district. They have new condos, they have new buildings that came up, and it's beautiful buildings. They have different architects, some such as the Four Seasons by Larry Silverstein, built a beautiful 80-story building, which is a mixed-use building. It's a hotel, first 40 stories, and the condos go up to the 80th floor.
Whoa!
Yes, beautiful, expensive building that changed neighborhoods. They have great restaurants in that building, and amenities are amazing.
So
it's hard to imagine that a couple of years ago they said it will be happening, and they built it in 2 years, and they completely sold this building. It's now fully sold.
It's now fully sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia in the Facey chat wants to know what the next big place to invest in New York City.
I like Upper Manhattan, which is they changed zoning in Inwood. It's a neighborhood to watch. They will have a lot of high rises in Inwood. Also Harlem, I like a lot. It's changing a lot. And I like Washington Heights. Many things are happening. So they have a lot of development scheduled in Washington Heights. But also Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is a Midtown West neighborhood. And west of 10th Avenue, it's the Opportunity Zone neighborhood. So it will happen a lot. It will change a lot in a few years.
Have the opportunity zones affected your business? Can you explain a little bit about what that means, that it's an opportunity zone?
So the opportunity zone is created in the neighborhoods that are underserved, and it's a recent program. It's a tax program that became with the recent administration, Trump administration, invented this opportunity zone program in order to get neighborhoods that are underserved. So for people, investors, to invest money into neighborhoods, and so you basically have to do a certain development in a neighborhood, in a property that you buy, and you can hold it for about 10 years, and then you can resell at no and don't pay a capital gain. So that's a basic rule of it. Of course, there is a certain amounts you have to invest. There is certain property you have to build according to zoning and to zoning regulations. But that's a basic program that it's never been like this before. You always have to pay your capital gain, or you have to do 1031 exchange when you sell commercial real estate. You never had that such an incentive that you will not pay your capital gain tax. Here you have a great opportunity to buy at the opportunity zone and not to pay capital gain when you sell it.
So it sounds to me like it's a win-win for the people in the neighborhood, and it's also a win for investors like yourself.
Yes, that's correct. Neighborhoods that are opportunity zones, and there are a lot of opportunity zone neighborhoods. In New York, there is in every neighborhood you have those opportunity zones, and you can invest in them. And of course, you can select the best and highest use for the property. There is a lot of opportunities in the opportunity zone.
Oh, I like that. I like the sound of that. We're up against the close of the show. I'd love for you to tell my audience where they can pick up your book, where they can follow you on social media and things like that.
Great. For those who just started listening, the book is called Get Rich in Real Estate by Elliot Bogod. And you can buy it at Barnes & Noble online. You can buy it on Amazon. And it's available as audiobook. You can buy it at Audible, and it's available online. Get Rich in Real Estate by Elliot Bogod.
And you also work with Forbes Magazine. I just want you to quickly tell my audience about that, because you do writing about all types of real estate topics for Forbes Magazine. And I posted the link to that in the Facey chat as well.
Right. I'm a consultant for Forbes. I'm a real estate counsel for Forbes. And you have, I wrote number of articles about real estate market, about trends, and you can find me, Elliot Bogod, at Forbes.
Yep, it's excellent. He has a treasure trove of different articles there for Forbes, so you guys might want to check that out as well. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today. You were a treasure trove of information.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you for all the listeners, and I'm happy to be with you.
Yep, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who's in the Facey chat today. Let's see if I can get everybody. Sylvia, one of my besties. I think this is one of the first times she's been hanging out on the show. She's a very, very busy lady taking care of my brother from another mother, her hubby, Dan. But I'm so happy that you came to visit today. Shelly, Doug, Katina, thank you so much for being here. Jim, there were some other folks that were here who I can't see in the chat anymore, but I want to thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it so much. If you're listening to this as a download, I appreciate you. Want to thank the Tax Mama for ringing up with her sponsorship. Just really, I shouldn't say kind of her to do that, because she did it as a business decision. She told me that many people told her that how they got her and enlisted in her program was because they listened to my show or found it on my YouTube channel. So I'm excited for her, and that's why she re-upped her sponsorship. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, I do have another spot or two left. You can instant message me on Facebook, or you can contact me at moneytalkwithmelanie@gmail.com or at moneytalkwithmelanie. On my website, you can contact me there if you're interested in being a sponsor or just want to follow me. I'm also on YouTube and Twitter and Pinterest and anywhere else on social media that you are comfortable with following the show. Spotify, iTunes, anywhere. Money Talk with Melanie is there. Just look for Money Talk with Melanie. So I want to thank you all for being here. And remember, all of this is very important, because after all, it's your money. Have a great weekend.